Arguing with idiots is a little like playing chess with a pigeon. It knocks over the pieces, poops on the board, and then struts around like it won.
So we found a better way to deal with idiots and to keep your blood pressure down.
This is Jim. He's got zero patience for nonsense and a PhD in walking away in style.
And that's Tab. She's fluent in sarcasm and refuses to explain obvious things to anyone more than once. And together, we're Unretired AF.
Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Unretired AF podcast, where we're going to be talking about don't argue with idiots, do this instead. But before we go there, we have two things. First, this is our 50th episode. So we want to thank you so much for watching our show and for just for being here. We really appreciate it. We want to thank our subscribers for being here. If this is your first time, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. And please consider hitting that subscribe button if you enjoy our content.
We also want to thank our people that have commented, because the only way we know what's going on is if you give us comments about it.
That's right.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
thank
we
you
had some wonderful,
everyone that's commented.
Wonderful comments. Wonderful comments about cheese and carbohydrates and blood sugar and our equipment and everything. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Getting right into it. Arguing with idiots feels productive, but it's not.
No.
So it feels like when you're arguing with an idiot that you're setting the record straight. And let's be clear. Everyone that you argue with isn't an idiot.
Right.
There's a difference. And we all know who they are. Idiots are the people who just want to be right, who don't care about you.
No.
And
who want to argue just to argue.
And they like arguing, and they're just trying to wind you up. So, it's not good to waste your time on those people because you feel like you're trying to set the record straight, but really you're just feeding into their chaos because you can feel it.
Right.
It doesn't matter. You could say the sky is blue and they would say it's green, and there's nothing you could do to change their mind.
Idiots aren't looking for the truth. They could care less.
That's right.
But what they do want is attention.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. They do. And we've all known people like that. We've all known people like that. And I think that I can say for myself, I think at this age, I've weeded out most of those people in my life who are like that, because it's just not pleasant. No. It's just not pleasant to be around them. And trust me, me and Jim both. Me and Jim, Jim and me.
Jim and I. Jiminy Cricket.
We both like to argue.
Yeah.
But we like to argue with smart people.
Right.
We like to argue with smart people or with dumb people if we're getting paid.
Right.
Right. So yeah. So the second thing is don't correct people, even though, I'm pretty guilty of that. But anyway, don't correct, redirect. I can be very guilty. I think a lot of women can, of wanting to correct. And it isn't necessarily that we're trying to demean people or whatever. We just want accuracy.
Yeah.
But instead of arguing, maybe just plant a seed, because, that's going to probably pay off more in the long run than trying to correct them, because they're not going to listen to you anyway.
Right.
They're not going to believe you anyway. But you can, say something that sticks with them, even if they pretend that it doesn't. Even if they can't pretend that you're not getting through.
Yeah. So our experience is that a lot of times a one-liner going at somebody is much better than a debate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And shorter, too.
You can say, never thought of it that way. Right. Or I guess it just depends on your passion.
Right.
Sometimes, I'll admit, sometimes I like a good argument.
But not with idiots.
Not with idiots, so. Not with idiots, so. Yeah, so I can, and I don't ever want to use the word belittle, but the curiosity sometimes, I can install the comedic factor in there, and kind of break the ice, and make it humorous and not confrontational.
Well, and that's a good strategy to use, because there's a lot of people in our lives that are very passionate about their beliefs.
Yeah.
And they want to push them on other people, and you don't want to ruin that relationship. So if you want to preserve that relationship,
right.
This is what we're talking about. If you don't want to preserve a relationship, tell them to piss off, and and then you don't suffer fools.
Yeah.
But if you do want to preserve the relationship,
right,
it's about being tactful that way. I mean, like you said, I never thought of it that way. That basically says what?
Yeah.
It basically says it basically validates that they could have a point,
right,
but it shuts it down.
right,
Don't you think?
right. It does. It
You know,
does.
and then don't continue on. Just
Right.
just let that be the end of it. Because once you've told them that, I never thought of it that way. It sounds like you're conceding, but you're not. To them, but it ends it. I mean, what are they going to keep arguing with you when you just say that?
Well, and we both know from our negotiating that a 10-second pause in the middle of battle, people lose their shit. They don't know how to even respond
Most
to you.
people can't handle those.
Yeah.
Those silent
So
pauses.
you gotta just sometimes you gotta just do that.
Yeah, it's hard sometimes.
It
Trust me,
is.
I have
It
a hard
is.
time sometimes.
It is.
But it's a strategy.
It is. It's a strategy.
It's a strategy, and it works. All right. Use the power of you might be right.
Yeah.
When you tell people that, I don't know, you might be right. It shuts down the drama.
Yeah.
And it makes it like you're not agreeing. You're giving them the opportunity to think that maybe they could be right, and you're being graceful about it. Again, this is if you're dealing with an idiot that you don't want to, whack off, get rid of them.
You're being graceful and gracious.
Gracious and gracious, giving them a little bit, but it's a way to stop them from arguing. They're not going to continue their point if you say that. You might be right. What are they going to do? I am right, damn it. They're not going to do that.
So what you get,
unless they're a real
so
asshole.
by that strategy is you let them think that they won. But what does that do for you? It lets you go live your life in peace. Right. I mean, especially if it's an argument that you really don't care about, it doesn't affect you.
Right.
Well,
if it's at work, it's going to maintain the peace at work.
Right.
Or let's say if it's a family member and you're at
Right.
a family, event, and you've got this person that you just know is going to start. It's a strategy that you can use that will diffuse that, and they're going to, like Jim said, they're going to feel like they won, even though you're not saying that. No. You're just saying you might be right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think so, but you might be right. I mean, there's a chance. Remember, like Jim Carrey, that one movie. Right. So you're saying there's a chance. Yeah. So anyway, and the next thing is save your energy for people who listen. Save your energy for people. You have insights you want to share that with people. Save it for people who have a damn brain cell to spare. Right. Don't share your insights. I mean, I will quote the Bible. There's a verse in the Bible that says, "Don't throw your pearls before swine." And that basically is saying, don't take your precious insights, your things, and throw it to idiots.
Right.
Because they're not going to appreciate it anyway.
Yeah. And, you can have healthy banter.
Yes.
With people that can give it as well as take it.
Right.
And
they're not idiots.
Right. And I do that every day. Right. And I learn stuff every day. I have fun with it.
Yeah.
I laugh. I mean, I laugh every single day.
Yeah.
With a lot of people that we're kind of all in the same mode. We've all had a good life, and we share experiences and stories and stuff, and and I'll tell somebody they're full of it, and they'll tell me I'm full of it, and we're probably both full of it.
Right.
And we're shit talking most of the day, but we're having fun doing it.
Well, exactly. And that's the difference. I mean, they're not idiots. And we're not saying anybody who disagrees with you or wants to argue with you is an idiot. We're not saying that. We're saying, the people who are idiots are the people who are not thinkers.
Well, I can tell you, arguing with idiots is very draining.
It is.
I mean, it's very draining. And talking with thinkers and people you enjoy and people you respect, it pumps you up.
Yeah.
It gives you energy.
Right.
Well, and you look forward to it, and you get something.
And you get something. It's a give and take.
Right.
With those idiots, it's like there's no give. They're just wanting their way.
Right.
Like you said in the beginning, they want attention. They want drama.
Yeah.
They don't even care about the truth.
No.
They don't care about if you have any, resources or evidence to show for your, viewpoint. They don't care because they are operating in a different place. They're operating in idiocy.
Right.
And so anyway.
And sometimes you gotta have a friend or a buddy or a spouse or whatever. You gotta have somebody that you can just kid around with,
right?
And they know you're not serious, and you know they're not serious.
Right.
It's healthy.
Right.
It keeps. I mean, I love one-line zingers. I just love it. I look forward to them every day,
right.
And it keeps me sharp. So don't be afraid to do that. Nobody's going to think bad of you for it.
Right. But you just
don't do it with an idiot.
You just have to read the room
Yeah.
and know that person's not going to be, not going to hurt their feelings. Everybody doesn't like that. I mean, I like it. Jim and I are both of Scottish descent, and the Scots are the kings of the patter, the banter.
Right.
We like that.
Right. Right.
And so, but everybody doesn't. I mean, some people take it real personally, and I know I've probably offended quite a few people by my direct candor.
Oh well.
But whatever. But we would never do it on purpose.
No.
And they weren't idiots either, because you just can't spend a lot of time with them.
Yeah.
Well, the takeaway from today's episode is that every battle isn't worth the bruises. I mean, because you're going to go into battle with, if you choose to, and go into battle with these idiots, and you don't know what's going to happen.
No.
I mean, now it used to be we knew what would happen when we, would have any kind of confrontation with people, but you don't know now.
You don't.
And it's better, because a lot of times these idiots are strangers.
Yeah.
That you don't know. And you don't know what they're going to do. You don't know what they're capable of doing. All you have to do is just read the news to see that people do a lot of fucked up shit with, did I offend your poor sensibilities? But they do in this world today, and they hurt people.
Right.
We saw the other day on somebody's YouTube channel, they posted from Colorado that somebody got mad at that, or there was a road rage issue. I don't know what's going on. And the guy pulls over and gets out and starts firing a gun at these people for a road incident. So,
shot like 8 times.
So that's another reason that it's good to diffuse these idiots, because if they're people you don't know, it could diffuse a dangerous situation that you put yourself in.
Yeah.
And you don't, it's like that old saying, I'll change the verbiage around a little bit, but, it's like, you don't want to have the battle. It's not worth the bruises, especially if the other person brought a kazoo to a logic fight.
Right.
And that's not a fair fight.
No. So my thought to you is let the idiots shout into the void.
Yeah.
You don't need to be in the void. Right. You're not the void. Right. You're not the one that is trying to prove a point in the void. So try to stay out of the void. You got to do things better, like just work to do things better.
You've got better things to do.
Better things to do. Sorry. Yeah, I got a little tongue-tied there. You got better things to do than worry about somebody in the void, like literally everything else.
Right.
Your whole life is better than chasing somebody in the void. Don't go for it.
Yeah. Because it's not, there's no point to it. There's not going to be a good ending to that, because they're just going to keep, if it's, let's say that you come to, even if you agree with them, whatever, then it's going to be the next thing. Right. It's not a one-off, it's going to be the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So,
So if you have any comments on this, we have a comment section. Yeah. Please feel free to drop a comment in there. We'd love to read about it, hear about it. We'll definitely respond if you're willing to share with us. Again, thank you for all our subscribers. This is episode 50 for us. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And we're really enjoy doing these.
Yeah.
If you have anything you want us to talk about or a topic, drop it in our comments. We're looking for new subject matter all the time.
Yeah.
Again, thank you for your subscription and thank you for watching our channel.
Yeah. And if you've enjoyed our show and you'd like to see it in your feed every day, please hit that subscribe button. We put out new content every weekday, Monday through Friday. Wow, we're not slowing down.
And neither should you. And together, we're Unretired AF.